There are a lot of videos out there that explain how to shoot real estate, but some of them are really complicated. I myself try to follow some of those, and they go in the nitty-gritty of Lightroom Photoshop, and even on location, they don't really show you exactly step by step how to shoot, but they rather put the emphasis on post-production, which I think is really important, and I'm going to talk about that too in this video. But if you're looking at shooting basic Flambient photographs, i.e. flash and ambient, and you want to mix those together, this is the video for you. If you want to go check my video where I shoot real estate with only a tripod and a camera without flash, you can go check it up here. It's a 2-minute video, and it's already going to help you a lot. But in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly where I place my camera, what are my settings, what are my flash power settings, why, so that you understand the reason behind my decisions. We're going to go over to my friend's house. He has a Coca-Cola house. What I mean by that is that all the decoration is Coca-Cola. They love Coca-Cola, but they never drink it. Isn't that funny? I do all my drone testing shots there, my interior drone shots. And today I'm going to use that space to show you how I take my real estate photographs. Let's go over. The two things you're going to need now are a tripod. It doesn't have to be an expensive tripod. It can be any tripod, so long as it's going to hold the camera in place and it's not going to make it fall down. I'm using a Peak Design carbon fiber tripod, but really you could use any tripod. And the other thing is a camera. So right now I have my Leica SL3S on the tripod, and the key thing here is not the camera, it is mainly the lens. You want to have a wide angle lens. For APS-C sensors, I would advise to not go under 10 millimeters, and for full frame sensors, I would advise not to go under 15 or 16. What I'm using right now is a Sigma 16 to 28 millimeters, which is absolutely perfect for real estate photography. We're going to divide this into two sections. The first section is the HDR, which is high dynamic range, and we are going to basically split this into different exposures. Some are going to be underexposed, some are going to be overexposed. And the purpose here is to get the best results by putting them together. And then we're going to tackle the flash. But let's first start with the settings that I use to take HDR photos. Now we're going to do bracketing, which basically means that it's going to take several shots automatically. And in this case, I'm taking 5 photos and I'm going to -4, -2, normal exposure, +2, +4. Those are going to be the different exposures that I'm going to be taking photos of. In terms of settings, I'm going to have an aperture of f9, which gives me enough depth of field without losing too much light or quality. And in terms of ISO, I'm setting it to 400, which is totally fine. You could also put 200, but you're losing a lot of light. In this case, I like to be at 400, and the shutter speed is set to auto, which basically means that based on the other settings, the camera will decide what shutter speed to use. All right, so now we're ready with the tripod right here. We're going to be taking this photograph of part of the kitchen, part of the living room. We are set to 5 exposures, and we are going to do that right now. So you want to make sure that you're properly aligned to the floor. Make sure that you already have your flash trigger on. That way you don't move anything afterwards when you're ready to take the photos. So here we go. I put a timer of 2 seconds. Very important. That way you don't move when you press the button by mistake. All right, so now we're going to talk about the flash. The flash part, which is sometimes a little bit daunting, but it's actually not that hard. What you want to do, in this case, I'm going to be using a Godox AD400 Pro. This flash allows me to have enough power. Most of the time it's too much power, but there are those rare cases in which you have a tall ceiling, a big room, and you need to have that extra power. So I'm not going to take my 300, 200, 100 Pro. I'm going to use the 400. The way we set this up is I normally set it up to 1/4 of the power. That way it's not too much. To do the first test, the first photo, just set it to 1/4 of the power. In terms of settings, on my camera, I have 2 different profiles that I saved. There is the 3 exposure, 5 exposure real estate profile, which is the HDR one. And then if you go here, you'll see there is another one that I called Flash Events. And that is also what I use for weddings, by the way. And what I set to normally is f9. So this is the depth of field. That way I have enough depth of field in my photograph without losing quality and not losing too much light. Then shutter speed, I set it to 1/125th of a second. Shutter speed does not influence the flash power. Just remember that. And the last one is ISO. ISO, I set it to 400, which is totally fine. You could set it to 800 to 200. Doesn't really matter. You can do some tests, but that's the settings that I use when I shoot real estate photographs. And now that we are ready, we are going to pop the flash. So we're going to take one photo. I'm going to focus over there. And this is the way I do it. So I pop my flash up. That way it bounces off the ceiling to the scene, because the ceiling is the biggest soft light we have. So we're going to use it that way. And here we go. So if you check the photograph, it's actually fine that way. It's not bad at all. It gives enough light. Now, I like to take more than one photo just to make sure. So in this case, I'm going to go to 1/2 of the flash power. Do the same. And this is how it looks. You can see that it is way brighter. Obviously, I increased one stop of light. This is fine to me. It looks okay. And we're going to go with this. We're back at the studio and I've imported all 6 shots. So we got 5 from the bracketing, the HDR bracketing, and we got 1 for the flash. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to select these 5 photos, and on my Mac keyboard, I'm going to press Ctrl-H. This is going to open the merge images to HDR. I'm going to set to none because I was on a tripod, leave auto align on, and leave auto settings, and I'm going to merge this. Once the image shows up, the HDR, I'm going to delete with the delete key on the keyboard, so that I only keep these 2 photographs, the flash and the ambient light. So I'm going to go on the develop module, and I'm going to bring the exposure up a little bit here, something like this. So on the histogram, it would show around here. And for the white balance, you're going to want to click here and find a place that's pretty neutral, like around here. This looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to lower the highlights a little more, and overall, those are the tweaks I would do to these photographs. Next thing, you're going to want to select the flash photo and lower the exposure here. So it looks something like this. This looks much better. So in the end, I chose the second photograph. So I'm going to select them both now, right click, edit in, open as layers in Photoshop. Once the photograph is open in Photoshop, you will want to align the layers to make sure they're aligned. So you select them both down here. You go on edit, auto align layers, auto. Okay, at this point, I select my HDR photograph, so the ambient light. I changed the mode to luminosity, and you will want to lower the opacity between 30 and 50%. I would go something like this. This looks pretty good. And now you have a mix between ambient and flash. So you save this, Command S. You go back to Lightroom. And now that we have the photograph here, there are a couple things I normally do. I go on transform and I say auto to make sure it corrects any distortion. And then you want to go on brush up here, select it, make sure the flow, the density are around 30. And you want to increase your highlights, your shadows, and your whites. And you're going to start brushing in the areas where it's a little bit darker. The reason I do this normally is because there are always some areas that stay a little bit darker. And in this case, you have a tall ceiling and a low ceiling here. And the problem is that the flash is not going everywhere. So by doing this, what you're going to do is you're going to increase those shadowy areas to make everything look the same and consistent. And this is how you get your Flambient. I hope this gives you some basics to take real estate photographs. If so, write it down in the comment section below. I'm curious generally to know if it helped you or not. If you have any additional questions, don't hesitate to hit me up, and I see you in my next video. If you like my content, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the future videos. Take care and see you soon.